Oh, in North America. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Because I just had that discussion with somebody from Instituto Lama Tsongkhapa. And they thought they're
Yes,
the first.
right. And this is actually the place where Lama Yeshe's holy body was cremated. So it has a long history. Many lamas, came and taught here over the years, including Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And just to show you a little bit, I'm going to move my webcam, and you can see there is a full life-size statue of Lama Yeshe there. And another very amazing thing, I don't know if you can see there, that's a very famous tanka of Chittamanitara that was Lama Yeshe's personal tanka.
Oh,
And so there's many of the kind of texts of Lama Yeshe are here. There's many holy objects and relics, and um, they have a whole jar of inner offering pills that Lama Yeshe blessed. And one of the benefits of coming to do retreat here, each retreat is entitled to one. So, yeah, like that.
one in a
So,
lifetime.
what's that?
One in a lifetime.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm just joking.
I don't know. Yeah. So,
Hello, everybody. I think people have joined us. We're almost, yeah, we are going to reach limit today, probably. So welcome to Tushita, everybody. It's 9 o'clock at night here in India. So good evening for everybody in India. I can see Dishat. Hello, Dishat. Shanti ji, of course. Wonderful to have you. And we are greeting Venerable Namjong in California, in Vajrapani Institute. It is morning for him. And everybody else is in the middle, I would guess. Yeah, Europe is in the middle, lunchtime. So welcome to day 6 of the Days of Miracles. It's wonderful. Venerable Namjong is in retreat right now and accepted anyway to join us for the Days of Miracles as every year. And we are so very happy joining us again with the Golden Light Sutra, which is so important to Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So welcome everybody. Venerable Namjong just gave us a little bit of a virtual tour of Vajrapani Institute's Gompa meditation hall. That was very lovely. Here we go. So we're going to reach probably limit today because we are joined as every day by Venerable Siliana for the Italian translation. Hello, Venerable Siliana. And today we are also joined by Anastasia, Anna and Anastasia from Russia. Wonderful Russian translation. And where is she? Where is she? Where is she? I can't see her. There she is, Rosa. Translation into Parsi. Farsi with an F, not a P, right? Here we go. Wonderful. So we got, I think, around 300 registrations overnight. 400, 500 registrations overnight blew our whole registration system for the whole year, including all the introductory courses and all other courses. So somebody was freaking out a little bit here. It's fine. We are rejoicing so much that there is so much interest. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. And Venerable Namjongla, I think most of you know, otherwise introduce very quickly. Venerable Namjongla comes from Hawaii. Wonderful place, I've heard. And here we go. What's that? What's that gesture?
the shaka.
Oh, the
You don't know
shaka.
this?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
No, I have no
They
idea.
have an
Never
emoji of this by
been.
now. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
I just know, the flowers and all these things. And most importantly, has entered Sarah Monastery, the Geshe program in 2007. if I can remember correctly, and was very close to his Geshe degree and then entered retreat. So we are so very happy to have you with us today. Thank you so much, Venerable Namjong.
Thank you very much, Kunpen. And thank you in advance to my team of translators and all of you who are joining from around the world. I got an email from the Tushita team telling about the over registration, and I just saw that this morning as I was making my coffee. So I was like, oh. But in general, I am very moved and touched by all of the interest from all of you all over the world to come together to do some virtuous practice. And especially, uh, as many of you probably have been joining these Days of Miracle program, these first 15 days of Losar are, we commemorate the great activities of the Buddha, where it is said that for the first 15 days after the New Year, one time, there were some non-Buddhists who were challenging the Buddha uh, to kind of compete in miraculous powers. And well, it is said that they would go to one town, and then so they could draw more people in for the spectacle, the Buddha kept moving from town to town for 15 days, and the people would sort of follow from town to town. And so um, if there were a Zoom in those days, they probably would also be oversubscribed. So many people came by the end. So, and then in sort of memory of that, we um, uh, come together and do practice. It is said that any practice that we do these first 15 days of the year, the benefit is multiplied by 100 million times. And this is one of the reasons then that Lama Tsongkhapa instituted the great Munlam Chenmo, the great prayer festival in Lhasa, where many tens of thousands of people would come together and do prayers and practices to take advantage of the special merit multiplying effects of these days. And then our uh, beloved guru and master Lama Zopa Rinpoche also very much advised his students to similarly take advantage of these days for practice. And I, well, I always like uh, to do retreat during this time, as well as to do the Mahayana precepts, another very beneficial practice for these first 15 days of the year. And I always sort of tell myself, well, since the merit that I do in these first 15 days of the year, since that's multiplied 100 million times, if I make good use of that these 2 weeks, then the rest of the year I can kind of, rest a bit easy. It's a bit of a joke. But in any case, it is good to do whatever kind of practice, whatever kind of activities we can to benefit others any day of the year, whether they are associated with the days of miracles or not. But it is also good to have these special days of the year where we can sort of all focus more intensely, because in other times of the year we might have other activities and commitments. So that is the general importance of these days of miracles. And then among all the practices that Lama Zopa Rinpoche had advised, then of course reciting sutras, doing, prostrations, reciting mantras, and so forth, all are very good to do. Doing extensive offering practice, practicing charity to those in need. Um, but here, one of the very cherished practices that Rinpoche was advising all of his students to do was to perform this recitation of the Sutra of Golden Light. And so uh, I wanted to first uh, share this. This is one advice from Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Can you all see that? You can do this if you can see it. Yeah,
Yes.
I'll, mm, oops. Okay. So anybody who wants peace in the world should read the Golden Light Sutra. It is a very important practice to stop violence and wars in the world. The Golden Light Sutra is one of the most beneficial ways to bring peace. This is something that anyone can do no matter how busy you are, even if you can read one page a day or a few lines, and in this way continually read the Golden Light Sutra. The Golden Light Sutra is the king of sutras. It is extremely powerful and fulfills all one's wishes, as well as bringing peace and happiness for all sentient beings up to enlightenment. It is also extremely powerful for world peace, for your own protection, and for the protection of the country and the world. Also, it has great healing power for people in the country. For anyone who desires peace for themselves and for others, this is the spiritual or Dharma way to bring peace that doesn't require you to harm others, doesn't require you to criticize others, or even to demonstrate against others, yet can accomplish peace. Anyone can read this text, Buddhists and even non-Buddhists who desire world peace. This also protects individuals and the country from what are labeled natural disasters of the fire element, wind element, earth element, and water element, such as earthquakes, floods, cyclones, fires, tornadoes, etc. They're not natural because they come from causes and conditions that make dangers happy. They come from past inner negative thoughts and actions of people and from external conditions. The benefits of reading the sutra are immeasurable. It is said that in the text that even compared to offering precious jewels as numberless as the amount of atoms of the Pacific Ocean to numberless Buddhas, reciting a few lines of the Golden Sutra of Golden Light creates more merit than making these immeasurable offerings to the Buddha. Reciting the sutra directs one's life towards enlightenment. There is so much merit created by reciting the sutra. Everything is taken care of. One's life becomes so easy. Whatever one wishes for, one receives. So this is because there is unbelievable purification and one collects extensive merits. This is how one liberates numberless sentient beings from the ocean of samsaric suffering and leads them to enlightenment. So here I would like to make this request to you with my palms together to please recite the Sutra of Golden Light for world peace as much as you can. So there we go. I think the title of this uh, we put into Shita the reciting the Golden Light Sutra to solve all the world problems, something like this. So some of you might think we've been engaging in some kind of propaganda or false advertising, but we will see in the sutra it describes the extremely powerful benefits of not only reciting the whole sutra, but even from reciting one bodhisattva's name, even from reciting the name of the Holy Sutra of Golden Light, there are many beings, the four directional kings, the general of the yakshas, the earth goddess, Didya, and so forth, that have made um, sort of promises to protect and help, offer service to those who uphold this sutra. Um, and I think, well, you might think that this is also just something that Lama Zopa Rinpoche maybe was uh, emphasizing, but actually we see that even Lama Tsongkhapa himself in the Lamrim Chenmo, he mentions the Golden Light Sutra on two occasions. And one is in terms of the purification of negative karma. Then Lama Tsongkhapa recommends two practices. And one is the confession in relation to the 35 Buddhas. So this, I think many of you know, the 35 confession Buddhas. And the other practice is the confession in relation to the Sutra of Golden Light, which is chapter 4, which we are going to read today. And the other place where Lama Tsongkhapa mentions this in the Lamrim Chenmo is in the development of bodhicitta. So there might be some new people, and just to let you know a little bit about bodhicitta, it is this amazing altruistic mind that is rooted in great compassion, wishing not only that all beings be free from suffering, but taking on the personal responsibility, saying that I myself will lead them to be free from suffering. But then, when we see our own current ability, our own current situation where we are suffering, where we have many problems and afflictions, that the actual way we can help beings is quite limited in scope. And so we then set our sights to develop our inner qualities to the highest potential so that we can be of more and more benefit to others. And this we see in the world, right? The more qualities, the more knowledge, the more power, the more resources we have. If we combine that with a beneficial motivation, an altruistic motivation, we can do more benefit toward others. And so this state of Buddhahood, enlightenment, then just is the sort of the pinnacle of our development of uh, our minds as human beings. It's characterized by the development, the full development of all of our inner qualities, and the complete abandonment of all the faults of the mind. So, with uh, this aspiration to achieve our highest potential, so we can be of utmost benefit for sentient beings, then we engage in the practices that will lead to sentient being, lead to enlightenment. Hmm? So we will see within this text, there's many beautiful aspirations to yeah, benefit sentient beings in various ways. And Lama Tsongkhapa, in the Lamrim Chenmo, uh, his seminal text on the stages of the path to enlightenment, also recommends to use those verses to help increase our bodhicitta. Okay? All right. So Now, how much time do we have? Oh, so by the way, I wanted to also maybe ask everyone if you can just write in the comments where everyone is tuning in from today. That'd be nice. I see that on other live streams, you know. Wow, Taiwan, Spain, Moscow, okay, Germany, Canada, Sweden, Bangalore, India, Iran, wow, wow, UAE, Thailand, oh, Swati Cup, UK, yes, Iran, wow, so many from Iran, Salam, Colombia, Italy, Iran, wow, so amazing, Spain, Salam, yes, wow, so, so amazing. As you all will see, that there are so many benefits, not just to yourself, but even the country that you're living in. Hmm? Uh, there is tremendous benefit for the country you're living in. And so actually, there is another website where Israel, oh, that's great. May all beings be in peace. Thank you. Yes, that's why we're doing this. So, and New York. All right. Tashile. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna stop looking at that. You'll see there's tremendous benefits to even the country that you're living in. So there's this website where you can, after you um, do a recitation, you can sort of um, upload on this website the country that the recitation has been in, and then globally, they sort of track the recitations by country and so forth. So I will say uh, this is not enough time for us to complete the recitation in this session, but I am going to strongly, you know, with hands folded, urge you to, even after the session is done, to complete the recitation, ideally within these first 15 days of miracles. That would be the best. Yeah. And then if you can, you know, if you can find that website, you can report your recitation. And uh, you know, then others in the world can rejoice that this sutra is being read all over the world. And I also like to advertise and say that, you know, when you are traveling, it's also very good to recite this. Sometimes, you know, if I'm traveling, then, you know, you might have a layover in, say, Dubai, or I once had a layover in Korea for just 7 hours, and I always make sure that I at least read part of the sutra in whatever country I go to, so that it can you know hopefully benefit the country. Hmm? So yeah, I would also encourage you to do that when you're traveling. You can download this sutra um, on the FPMT website, and it is available in many languages. Um, Although I did check, and there is no Farsi translation yet. But um, for my beautiful Farsi speaking brothers and sisters, um, maybe I'll commit to this right now. Bibi Rosa, I'll work with you, and we'll find someone who can translate into Farsi. We'll do some fundraising for it, and you know, I'll help out as much as needed, okay? Can we announce that right now? All right, great. So with that, let us go to the next. We're not quite there yet. Oops. Oops. Hold on. Yikes. Okay, can you see this? All these. Okay. So here it says Guide to Reciting the Sangata Sutra, which is another very powerful sutra that Lamzo Rinpoche has recommended. But these instructions, kind of advice for when we're reciting the sutra, it goes for any kind of recitation we do. So, in more recent times, also the Sutra of Great Liberation has been translated. And so, whether you're doing the Golden Light Sutra, the Sangata Sutra, Sutra of Great Liberation, the Vajrakara Sutra, names of Manjushri, whichever kind of text we recite, this advice will go to all of that. Okay? So let's go through that first. And I'm spending time on this so we can then, know that how to make best use of the recitation and how we can, meditate before, during, and after we do the recitation. So it's not just like some, you know, blah, 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 right? So when we recite this text, we're offering our bodies to allow the sutra to manifest in this world as a physical sound, as verbal expression, and as mental content. Um, so also, it's very important that we, recite out loud, and it's very good for any being then who hears even the syllables, the words of the sutra. So maybe before we start the recitation, if you have some, um, you know, other beloved sentient beings, maybe a nice dog, cat, parakeet in your respective home, you can bring those beloved animals that you're taking care of into the room where you're reciting the sutra so that they receive the benefit. So reciting the sutra can be seen as an offering to the Buddha, as a form of purification and as a way to bring all the benefits of the sutra to ourselves and to others who may be within earshot. It can be recited any time and any place, but these are the guidelines. So it can be recited in any language. I'm not going to read the full thing. I'm just going to kind of summarize. It can be recited in any language. There's no prerequisite. Anyone, Buddhist, non-Buddhist, can recite and then recite it out loud. Yeah, yes, here. It's important for the sound to be audible if pets or other animals are within earshot. Mm. And then if you want, you can place your palms together while reciting. Um, you can do it all at once, or even partial recitations are okay. And in fact, it is a good practice to even just do, 1 or 2 pages a day. I think everyone has time for that. But as I mentioned, for these first 15 days, hopefully you can do a bit more and finish the full recitation in these days. Then many people who recite with others, they report that it is more powerful than reciting alone. So this is, it's also stated in the traditional texts that say now there's 100 people that come together. So if there's just one person on their own doing the recitation, they would get the recitation of, one. But now, when 100 people come together and each do one recitation, then it's almost inconceivable. Everyone in the group gets the merit of having recited 100, right? There's a saying in the Tibetan when the group practice, it's like, a broom, where if you just have one kind of strand of the broom, right, it can't do much sweeping. But when you bring all those strands together, it can get a lot more done. So, similarly, when we have come together as a global community, all interested in peace, all interested in making the world a better place, all interested in developing our inner qualities so we can be more instrumental in making that happen, then the benefits are correspondingly so much greater. Okay? So then, first, before we recite, we settle our mind and let our heart fill with love and compassion toward all the other sentient beings. Yes? If you haven't done that already, let's take a moment and do that now. All sentient beings who, just like us, want happiness and want to avoid suffering. Yet, despite their wish to experience happiness and not experience suffering, then uncontrollably, everyday sentient beings are experiencing various kinds of suffering. Suffering due to external conditions like war, like natural disasters, earthquakes, hurricanes, wildfires, tsunamis. Suffering due to sickness, illness, various accidents, suffering due to economic problems, so much famine, so much violence. So then, with this wish that all the beings in the world, and not only this world, but the whole universe, be free from these various kinds of suffering, we sort of dedicate and motivate this recitation that we're going to do, that it not only become the cause for us to be happy and us to be free from suffering, but this is our offering to the entire world and all the beings therein, that all of these problems and suffering due to war, environmental disasters, violence, poverty, sickness, and so forth, that all of these be pacified immediately. And instead, all beings then have only the best conditions, adequate food, adequate medical attention, a safe place to live, adequate heating and other things that will make the environment bearable to live. And then with these outer conditions being met, then people can do the inner work of developing their inner qualities to their highest potential. So for all those reasons, we are doing the sutra recitation. Okay? So next, while we recite, there are these 3 points, okay? So if you can, then think that we are reciting the sutra to all the beings in the place where we are, and then also to all the beings in the six realms. So it's one practice that we can do, that we visualize, you know, that all the beings then are in the room where we are. Use the power of imagination. Okay. Of course, if there are other, pets and so forth in your place, even better. But just this visualization, it helps keep in mind that we are doing this not just for ourselves, but for all beings. Okay. Then we can also visualize, point two, the Buddha in front of us, and think that the Buddha is giving this sutra teaching to us. Okay. And then as we recite, think that we are then in turn teaching this sutra to all the beings that we visualized. So amazing. So amazing to do that. Okay. So now some preliminary prayers here, you see? Okay. So taking refuge in generating bodhicitta, I go for refuge until I am enlightened, to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. Okay, so I should say this because there may be some new people here. Hmm. So this concept of refuge, right? Refuge. In a worldly context, um, when there is rain, uh, especially in the monsoon up at in Dharamsala, very heavy rain, we don't want to get wet. So when that happens, we try to find a place that can give us some shelter that would protect us from getting wet, right? So that in general is what refuge is. Um, Now, I mentioned, the Sangata Sutra. So actually, one of the practices I'm doing is reciting that many, 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 many times. And every time I read, I sort of notice different things. And um, well, there's this part, those of you who are familiar with the sutra, toward the end of the sutra, there's a rather, rich man, right, who is then about to die. And he realizes that, wow, he's wasted his life. He, had all these jewels. He, rubbed various like ointments and oils on his body and smelled nice. He rode on elephants. He had all this power, but now he sees he's about to die, and so all of that, is worthless and meaningless, right? So he makes this whole kind of speech to his family with all the regrets he had about, wasting his life, and um, wishing he had practiced virtue. So at the end of that, there's this very beautiful statement from the Buddha, who says that, although, beings at the time of death may lament and wail in that way, no one will be their protector except for the ripening of the good actions they have done. Hmm. So fundamentally, although we might say, okay, I take refuge in the Buddha, Buddha save me, or, God save me, someone save me out there, the real sort of savior for us is to do good actions, good deeds in the world, right? And in order to do that, we need to then uh, do the inner work of being able to first get under control, apply antidotes towards the non-virtuous states of mind, like anger, like greed, like attachment, jealousy, and so forth, that provoke us then, that impel us to do actions that are then harmful to others. And then on the other hand, is to develop those good qualities of mind, like loving kindness, compassion, tolerance, generosity, and so forth, right? So these techniques that we then use and apply within our own minds to uproot and eliminate the negative states of mind and increase the positive states of mind is what the Dharma is. And this is what the Buddha taught, right? So in this way, when we say, I go for refuge, yes, okay, what is going to be our protection? It is then these techniques that then benefit our mind, improve our mind, and help us then eliminate the negative actions we do and increase the positive actions we do. And then we go to the Buddha as the one who taught these techniques. And when it says the Supreme Assembly, it is just then the community of other practitioners who can offer support to us, right? So please don't think that, okay, uh, there's some Buddha out there that's going to save us, but rather, the Buddha himself had said that we need to become our own refuge. And we do that how? By engaging in virtuous actions, abstaining from negative ones. Okay? All right. So then these next two lines is again the generating bodhicitta. So by my practice, giving the other perfections, everything we do, it's not so we can enjoy, some luxury. It's not so we can have long life, but it's solely focused towards, may I become a Buddha so that I can benefit all sentient beings. Okay? So with that, now we can recite and have a bit of you know, feeling behind it, right? Uh, Otherwise, there's a real risk that the practice, well, our beginners here on the Zoom, maybe you won't even know these words, and then it's just like, oh, I'm reciting this stuff. I don't even understand what's going on. Well, that's why we study. But then even for the more seasoned and experienced practitioners, we can think, okay, this is the preliminary, okay, blah, 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 and it doesn't really touch our hearts. Okay. So with that, we can recite. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. So now here, the seven limb prayer. So reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind. Okay. I present clouds of every type of offering, actual and imagined. So here, as we do this, you'll see in the Golden Light Sutra, there is I think it's in the chapter on the four great kings, maybe chapter 8, where it talks about the benefits of offering incense uh, while reciting the sutra. So I have some very nice incense. I saw some people from Taiwan. I think there's someone from Singapore here. Yeah, is it like this or like this? I don't even know. Maybe like this. Yeah, can you see that? Agar wood incense. Very nice. So Um, okay. I have maybe some of you know Venerable Namgyal. He's a monk here. Wow. Look at this lighter. He's actually from the Ukraine and is now doing a retreat here. Oh, huh? Okay. I can't even figure out the lighter. He's going to help me. So I will offer these sticks of incense. If you have incense in your place, you can do that now. Otherwise, I'm lighting it for on behalf of all of us. Okay. So it is said that incense, offering incense is very good. It creates a special uh, cause for maintaining pure morality. In other words, abstaining from harming others, which is very good in the world. Okay. All right. Om Ahum, Om Ahum, Om Ahum. I declare all my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time. So here, when we say that, the reciting the sutra is going to be solving all the world problems, how we then uh, come to not experience the suffering is by purifying the negative karma, right? So here we can think of all the negative actions we've done: killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, divisive speech, criticizing others, gossiping, covetousness, malice, and having wrong views, all the broken vows and pledges we have done from beginningless time, and seeing that you can just put that over there. Seeing that we don't want to experience those benefits, we then make a commitment to not do those actions again in the future to the best of our ability. Next, we rejoice in the merit of all holy and ordinary beings. So here, just being very happy and joyful that there are others in the world that are engaging in virtuous things. So maybe just to explain a little bit for some of the beginners, well, I like to think of it like this. Have you ever had the occasion where you've met someone after some months and maybe they're a little bit out of shape before and now they're in shape? You're like, wow, you're looking really good. And they say, yeah, I've cut out sugar, I'm going to the gym, I'm doing my cardio, all this. And you feel like, wow, okay, that's really nice. And so this sort of joyfulness, you know, in what the other person has done, seeing that now, okay, wow, I want to be like that. That joyfulness you have actually then can impel you, motivate you to then also get in better shape and take care of your diet, take care of your exercise. Okay? So just like that, when we think about other people in the world, doing virtuous things, helping others, meditating, um, offering service, then that creates a psychological kind of motivation that we then do that in the future. Okay? So think about all the virtue that you have done and be very happy about that. It's so wonderful, you know, how rare it is in the world that people even think to spend their time doing something virtuous rather than all the various entertainment and distractions that we have in modern life. That's so wonderful. So wonderful. then thinking about the other things that other people are doing. You hear there's, so many not even talking about Buddhists, but so many NGOs in the world um, offering medical treatment, offering food, helping people that have experienced some kind of natural disaster. All of the wonderful work going on in various animal shelters, you know, nursing animals back to health, finding them homes, whatever is real for your experience. Just be very happy about that and think how wonderful it is. Then we can also think about, our the various virtuous activities of um, our spiritual teachers, like His Holiness Dalai Lama, who for so many decades uh, taught tirelessly these various methods that people could use then to develop their inner qualities. All the work he did, meeting with various world leaders, trying to uh, have the leadership of the world, govern from a more enlightened, compassionate frame of reference. All of that, so wonderful, so wonderful, so wonderful. Okay. So then, next, please remain until the end of cycle existence. Here we are requesting our gurus, and especially here, continuing on with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Uh, yeah, we should, dedicate all of our merits that His Holiness continues to abide in this world, and next, turn the wheel of Dharma for living beings. And we should also motivate and dedicate that His Holiness can give some teachings. Although there still are some occasions in Dharmasala, where Tushita is located, that there will be some sort of public activities, long life pujas, and so forth. Um, to a large extent, the amount of teachings that are being given has gone down a lot. So we can also, pray that, through our collective merit, that we then have the ability, we and others have the ability to receive these teachings as well. And then last, dedicating these merits and those of all others to the great enlightenment. Great enlightenment means all beings become enlightened, not just people that we like, not just people in our country or the same ones that like our football team. So yeah, all beings. Okay. Then there's this short mandala offering. So basically, to think of all the whole universe visualized as a pure land. And then this is what we're offering along with this special requesting prayer. So this ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, four continents, sun and moon. I imagine this is a Buddha field on offer. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. I prostrate and go for refuge to the Guru and three precious gems. Please bless my mind. I'm requesting you to pacify immediately all wrong conceptions from incorrect devotion to the Guru up to the subtle dual view of the white, red, and dark visions that exist in my mind and the minds of all mother sentient beings. I'm requesting you to immediately generate all the right realizations from Guru devotion up to enlightenment in my mind and the minds of all mother sentient beings. I'm requesting you to pacify all outer and inner obstacles to actualizing the entire graduated path to enlightenment in my mind and in the minds of all mother sentient beings. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamniratayami. So here, just to mention, we have outer and inner obstacles, right? So the outer obstacles can be things like uh, war, uh, poverty, sickness, all the obstacles in the world to our practice. Then the inner obstacles are our afflictions, our negative karma, right? So uh, we're requesting, and dedicating that all of these outer and inner obstacles can be pacified in my mind and in the minds of all other sentient beings. Okay? Then we do this recitation of the multiplying mantra. We do this 7 times. Then it multiplies the merit of our recitation by 1,000,000. Okay? Tayata om dare dare bendare soha. 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 And then, yeah, as I mentioned before, as we do the recitation, we visualize that the Buddha is giving us the teaching, and we receive all the realizations in our heart as we recite. And then when we recite, we visualize we're giving teachings to all the sentient beings, and then all these precious dogs, cats, birds, spirits, and other beings that can hear us, then uh, they also receive the realizations. Okay? Then after we finish, then think that all these beings then are completely purified and they receive all the realizations up to enlightenment as well as the complete pacification of all the suffering and cause of suffering. Okay? So the introduction has taken about an hour, but it's good. It's good. No, because remember, we weren't going to be able to finish the whole sutra anyway. But now, after that introduction, I'm hoping that you all have the sort of enthusiasm and inspiration that, wow, this sutra is so precious. I'm going to now, recite it and make it my practice. And now you'll know how to recite it in the best way with the best motivation that the recitation will be most beneficial. I'll just share a little story. Actually, I think the story, Ciliana, you might have been there when Lama Zopa Rinpoche, he led the 100 million Mani retreat in Italy. I believe this story is from there. And I heard that, the group is trying to recite as a group 100 million Om Mani Padme Hum mantras, right? And so, you go through all the preliminaries, this and that, right? Offering prayers, prostrations, everything. And then finally comes time for the mantra, right? So everyone, as they start the mantra recitation, everyone is Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. And Lama Zopa Rinpoche, his mala, right, is on his table and he's meditating, 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 right? Then this goes on. The session is almost over. He then picks up his mala and just does, 1 mala worth. That's it. So it is said that when we do our actions with this mind of bodhicitta, then the the benefits is 100,000 times more than something without bodhicitta. So then to do these, preliminaries in a way that really move the heart, that is the way to do. I also heard, okay, I also heard from Venerable Sarah. Many of you might know her. Actually, I saw one of you is up in the Laudo retreat right now. Is that right? That's great. If you're with Venerable Sarah, please give her my kind regards. So she once told me that Lama Zopa Rinpoche went up to Laudo to do a mandala offering retreat. So by the way, I am doing a mandala offering retreat right now, and I have about a month left. And so at first I was doing it quite, like Rinpoche's way, a lot of preliminaries, motivation, meditating. But then I'm like looking at my numbers and I'm like, oh my gosh, in order to finish, I'm having to really push at the end. Anyway, Venerable Sarah told me in 2 weeks, Rinpoche did, guess how many? The normal practice is to do 100,000 mandalas, okay? In 2 weeks, Rinpoche did 15. 15. So, you know, uh, yeah. If you had to choose between quantity and quality, quality is always better. But even better is the quality with the quantity. Okay? All right. So with that, without further ado, let us go to the Sutra of Golden Light. Okay. So now, um, those of you who, English is not your, preferred language, um, I think this is available in, uh, well, I know it's available in Russian, in Ukrainian, in German, in Vietnamese, in Mandarin. So if you wish, you can either recite in your favorite language, right? Or you can recite in English along with me. Okay. So let me just check. Do we have you want to do half an hour more or an hour more? What do you normally go to, Kunpeng? You can be honest.
Usually we have altogether 1.5 hours, but we
Okay.
can do overtime, of course.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's see. This is my morning coffee, so the recitation will be 10% quicker. Those of you in the other part of the world, don't drink caffeine too close to bed. It's not good for your health. Okay. Okay, enough fun and games. So again, let's just refresh our bodhicitta motivation, thinking that we're doing this recitation for all of the beings in this world, all the beings in the universe, including all the beings in the hell realms, the hungry ghost realms, the animals, the humans, the devas, and that this recitation will become the cause for all of the proximate causes for suffering to be pacified in the universe, and all beings have all the conditions that they can quickly achieve the state beyond all suffering and complete enlightenment as soon as possible. Okay. The King of Glorious Sutra is called the Exalted Sublime Golden Light, a Mahayana Sutra. In the language of India, Arya Survana Prabha Sotama Sutre Rendra Raja Mahayana Sutra. In the language of Tibet, Papa Se Dampa Do, I think it's Dampe Do, by the way, a little thing. Dampe Do Wangpu Gyalpo Shichawa Tekpa Chimpu Do. Chapter 1, chapter on the preamble to the preamble of the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. Homage to all the past, future, and present Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Pratyeka Buddhas, and Shravakas. Thus I have heard at one time the Tathagatas, so please recite out loud. The Tathagata entering the Buddha's domain of experience, the profound sphere of reality at Vulture's Peak, expounded to the Supreme Bodhisattvas, who were pure and stainless, the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light, which is extremely profound upon hearing and profound upon examination. The Buddhas in the four directions confer the blessings. Blessings from Akshobhya in the east, Ratnaketu in the south, Amitabha in the west, and Dundubishvara in the north. In order to extinguish all unwholesome deeds, I'll proclaim this auspicious sublime discourse that exhausts all negative karma, grants all peace and happiness, completely eliminates suffering, which is adorned with all that is glorious and is the foundation of omniscience, granting blessings. This I shall explain. Sentient beings whose senses are defective, whose life expectancy has ended or is fading, whom the gods have turned against, whom are burdened by misfortune, hated by their loved ones, or oppressed as household servants, in conflict with one another, afflicted with decline in material wealth, grief-stricken and miserable, ridden with fear and stricken by poverty, troubled by stars, planetary bodies, and fierce demonic spirits, or who see excruciating nightmares, following grief and fatigue, should bathe well to render themselves clean and listen to the Sublime Sutra. Should those with virtuous intent and pure mind adorn themselves in clean garments, and then listen to the Sutra on the profound, the domain of the Buddha's experience, through the awe-inspiring power of the Sutra, the suffering of all creatures, the likes of which cannot be endured, will be forever pacified. Protection will be offered to them by the guardians of this world, their ministers and army chiefs, 10,000s of millions of yakshas, the great goddess Sarasvati, and the goddess who dwells in the Naranjana, by Hariti, mother of Bhutas, the earth goddess Jija, by the Brahma kings and the kings of the 33, the powerful king of serpents, king of the Kinaras and king of Asuras, likewise by the king of Garudas. They, with their clans and might, will arrive, along with their mounts, and unfailingly day and night offer protection to beings. I will clearly expound the sutra on the profound, the domain of the Buddha's experience, the secret of all the Buddhas, difficult to find in tens of millions of eons. Those who hear the sutra, those who cause others to hear it, those who rejoice upon hearing and making offerings to it, for tens of millions of eons shall be venerated by gods and nagas, humans and kinaras, asuras and yakshas. For beings without merit, their store of merit will grow into a limitless, incalculable, inconceivable mass. Fiercely they will be protected by Buddhas in the 10 directions, likewise also by bodhisattvas engaged in the profound. Clad in clean garments, wearing well-perfumed clothes, possessing a mind firm with love, without distraction, one should honor the sutra, render the mind spotless, put forth effort to make it expansive and intensely clear, then listen to the Sublime Sutra. Those who listen to the sutra will be acclaimed among humans, attain an excellent human existence, and live a life of comfort. Those into whose ears this sublime discourse is echoed will have merit roots refined, and numerous Buddhas will extol them. This ends the first chapter, the chapter on the preamble of Glorious Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. Mm, sorry. Chapter 2, the chapter on the span of the Tathagata's life. Furthermore, at that time, during that period, in the great city of Rajgiriya, there dwelt the Bodhisattva, the great being, Ruchira Ketu, who had venerated previous Buddhas, cultivated roots of virtue, and rendered service to many hundreds of thousands of millions of Buddhas. He thought to himself, what cause and what condition will cause the Lord Shakyamuni to live for only 80 years? That is such a short life. Furthermore, he thought, Lord has himself declared there are two causes and two conditions which prolong life. What are the two? They are namely renouncing killing and giving food wholly. As for the Lord Shakyamuni, he renounced killing for many incalculable hundreds of thousands of millions of eons. He perfectly adhered to the path of the 10 virtuous actions. He gave away food and external and internal objects completely. Not only that, he satisfied hungry living beings with the flesh, blood, bones, and marrow of his own body. Then, while the sublime being entertained such thoughts with regard to the Tathagata, his house transformed into a vast and expansive palace made of lapis lazuli, embellished with numerous divine jewels. It's colored, transformed by the Tathagata, and filled with perfumes surpassing those of gods. In the four directions emerged four thrones made of divine jewels. These thrones came to be covered with mats of divine jewels and fine cotton raiment, and on those thrones appeared divine lotuses adorned with numerous jewels, their color transformed by the Tathagata. From those lotuses arose four transcendent victor Buddhas. In the east appeared Tathagata Akshobhya. In the south appeared Tathagata Ratnaketu. In the west appeared the Tathagata Amitayus. And in the north appeared the Tathagata Dundubishvara. When those Tathagata appeared on those lion thrones, the great city of Rajgriha was filled with bright light. That light pervaded all the triple thousand great thousand world systems in the 10 directions, and world systems as many as grains of sand in the Ganges River. In addition, divine flowers rained down and divine music resounded. Through the power of the Buddha, all sentient beings in the triple thousand great thousand worlds too became possessed of the joy of the gods. Beings whose senses were incomplete became possessed of complete senses. Beings blind from birth saw forms with their eyes. Deaf beings heard sound with the ears. Insane beings regained their sanity. Distracted beings became focused. Naked beings became clothed in garments. Hungry beings became full-bellied. Thirsty beings were quenched. Beings afflicted with illness became free of disease. Beings whose bodily organs were defective became possessed of complete organs. Many astounding events took place in this world. Upon seeing those Buddhas, the Bodhisattva Richiraketu was greatly astounded. He was satiated, pleased, joyful, and delighted, feeling happy and ecstatic. With hands folded in the direction of the Tathagatas, he bowed in homage, remembering those Tathagatas. Then, reflecting on the qualities of the Tathagata Shakyamuni Buddha, he was vexed with misgiving about the lifespan of the Tathagata Shakyamuni Buddha. He wondered, how is it that Lord Shakyamuni will live a brief life of only 80 years? Those Tathagatas, while knowing and realizing his thoughts, spoke to him thus: O child of noble family, do not think Lord Shakyamuni will have such a short lifespan. Why? Because, O child of the noble family, except for the perfectly and fully enlightened conqueror Tathagatas, we do not see among the world of gods, Maras, or Brahmas, among ascetics and Brahmins, gods, humans, or asuras, anyone who could perceive the furthest future reaches of the lifespan of the Tathagata Lord Shakyamuni. As soon as those Tathagata expressed this observation on the lifespan of the Tathagata Shakyamuni Buddha, then by the power of the Tathagata, those gods residing in the desire and form realms, including Nagas, Yakshas, Gandharvas, Asuras, Garudas, Kinnaras, and Maharagas, as well as numbers hundreds of thousands of millions of bodhisattvas gathered and went to the house of the bodhisattva, Richiraketu. Those Tathagatas proclaimed in verse this explanation of the lifespan of the Tathagata Shakyamuni to the entire gathering. The drops of water in all the oceans can be measured, but no one can measure the lifespan of Shakyamuni. To the finest particle, the atoms of Mount Sumeru can be gauged, but no one can gauge the lifespan of Shakyamuni. The number of finest particles existing on this earth can be measured, but not the span of the conqueror's life. Although through some device one may wish to measure space, no one can measure the lifespan of Shakyamuni. The number cannot be found that explains the fully enlightened Buddha lives this long and this many eons in eon terms, such as 100 million eons. There are two causes for this. There are two causes and two conditions for this, renouncing deadly violence and repeatedly giving plentiful food. The finite count of the lifespan of this great being that explains, he who lived this many eons cannot be found. The eons are indeed uncountable. Hence have no doubt, not even the slightest doubt. The finite limit of the conqueror's life is not observed anywhere. Then at that time, in that assembly, the Brahmin teacher and expounder called Dinya, along with numerous thousands of Brahmins venerated the Tathagata. On hearing the voice of those great Tathagatas, the completely beyond sorrow, they gathered in that place at once. Bowing at the feet of the Tathagata, the Brahmin teacher and expounder Kaudinya said to the Tathagata, if the Lord transcendent victor is merciful to all living beings, compassionate, desirous of serving, apparent to all, equal to the unequaled, illuminating like the moon, wisdom, and knowledge glowing like the sun. If you look upon beings, all beings, as upon your son Rahula, then please give me some guidance. The Tathagata remained silent. Then, through the power of the Tathagata, in that assembly, a confidence grew in a Lichavi youth called Sarvalokya Priyadarshana, and he spoke thus to the Brahmin teacher and expounder called Dinya. Why do you seek guidance, great Brahmin, from the Buddha? I will give the guidance you seek. The Brahmin said, for the sake of honoring the Buddha, the Chavi youth, and for the sake of receiving a share of relic powder, I wish to have a relic of the Buddha the size of a mustard seed. It is said that if one honors a relic the size of a mustard seed, one attains lordship over the gods of the 33. Listen, O Lichavi youth, to the King of Glory Sutra, the Sublime Golden Light, which has features and qualities such as being difficult for all the Shravakas and Pratika Buddhas to know and comprehend. O Lichavi youth, the Sutra of Sublime Golden Light is in this way difficult to know and difficult to comprehend. Hence, we Brahmins of remote areas wish to have a relic the size of a mustard seed, which, when held, either placed in a bowl or kept on the body, causes living beings to attain lordship over the gods of the 33. Why wouldn't you, O Lichavi youth, wish to receive a relic the size of a mustard seed from the Tathagata and keep it in an urn so that living beings may attain lordship over the gods of the 33? O Levachi youth, I seek such a boon. Then Sarva Loka Priyadarshana, the Levachi youth, replied in verse to the Brahmin teacher and expounder Kaudinya. So I'm going to mention here. So Lama Tsongkhapa mentions actually that this person we see here, Sarvalokya Priyadarshana, the Lavachi youth, actually was the great Arya Nagarjuna in his past life. So some of you know Nagarjuna. He wrote many texts on emptiness and was one of the great masters of the Nanda tradition. So in Lama Tsongkhapa's commentary to one of those texts, the fundamentalism of the middle way, Lama Tsongkhapa, in discussing the life story of Nagarjuna, states that actually this is him in his past life. And here he is now giving this reply. When white lilies grow in Ganges' swift currents, when crows become red and cuckoos turn the color of conch, when palm fruit grows on the rose apple tree and on the date tree mangoes form, at that time a relic the size of a mustard seed will appear. When from tortoise hair clothing shielding winter's bite can be woven well, then there will be a relic. When from the legs of gnats, multistellar towers can be well built, solidly firm and never shaking, then there will be a relic. When all leeches grow white teeth, sharp and big, then there will be a relic. When from the horns of rabbits, ladders can be built well in order to climb high, then there will be a relic. Climbing this ladder, should a mouse eat the moon and harm Rahu as well, then there will be a relic. When bees that buzz in town drink a pitcher of wine and make a dwelling in the house, then there will be a relic. When donkeys become happy, well versed in singing and dancing, their lips ruddy like a bimba fruit, and there will be a relic. When owls and crows flock to solitude, frolic together, and become friendly, then there will be a relic. When the leaves of the pashala tree become an umbrella made of three jewels that keeps off the rain, then there will be a relic. When large ocean vessels fitted with turning devices and sails float and set sail on land, then there will be a relic. When owls move freely, lifting the Ganda Mandana mountain in their beaks, then there will be a relic. After hearing these verses, the Brahmin teacher and expounder, Kaudinya, replied to Sarva Loka Priya Darshana, the Lavachi youth, excellent, excellent supreme youth, the son of Buddha, great orator, heroic and skillful in means, you have received the sublime prophecy. Listen to me, O youth, concerning the inconceivable greatness of the Tathagata, the protector and savior of the world. The realm of the Buddha is inconceivable and the Tathagata is peerless, are peerless. All Buddhas are ever serene, all Buddhas are perfectly emerged, all Buddhas are of the same hue, such is the suchness of Buddhas. The Lord, transcendent victor, is uncontrived. The Tathagata is unborn. His body, hard as a vajra, manifests emanated forms. Thus, no relic small as a mustard seed of the great sage is to be found. Since his body is without bone and blood, how can there be a relic? Yet, to benefit living beings skillfully, relics are transformed. Dharmakaya, the complete Buddha, Dharmadhatu, the Tathagata, akin to the deed of teaching Dharma, these are the body of the Lord. Because I heard and knew this, I sought the sublime gift to make this truth plain and clear. Thus I initiated this discourse. Then, having heard such profound explanation of the Tathagata's span of life, all 32 sons of gods generated altruistic resolve for peerless and perfect enlightenment. Their minds filled with intense joy, they spoke these verses in a single voice. The Buddha does not enter complete nirvana. Neither does the Dharma cease to be. Yet for the ripening of beings, Tathagata's manifest passing beyond suffering. The transcendent victor Buddha is inconceivable. Though the Tathagata's body is permanent, it pervades a multitude of forms for the welfare of sentient beings. Having heard these discourses explaining the lifespan of the Tathagata, Shakyamuni Buddha, from these Tathagatas and the two great beings, the Bodhisattva Ruchiraketu was thoroughly satiated, pleased, and extremely delighted and filled with joy. He was overwhelmed with great bliss of mind. While this discourse on the Tathagata's span of life was being given, inconceivable countless sentient beings generated altruistic resolve for peerless and perfect enlightenment. Then those Tathagatas vanished in that very spot. This ends the second chapter, the chapter on the span of the Tathagata's life from the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. Okay, so we have 5 more minutes. Let's see. A chapter of confession. Okay, good. So I'm going to propose this. Let us do this chapter on seeing the dream, chapter 3. It's just one page. Then the chapter on confession really is so precious. And within that, toward the end, there is a long kind of dedication prayer. So we'll do chapter 4. We'll go a little bit over, but chapter 4 will also be our main dedication. Okay? So if you have to leave, then just pick up where we've left off, and please, please, please try to complete the recitation of this sutra, okay? All right. Now, I will also say my beloved dear friends from Iran, maybe you uh, can't read English, you can't read any of the languages that the sutra is translated into yet. That's okay. You can just listen to the recitation and meditate on compassion for all beings. That'd be very good. So, even those of you who do understand English or whatever language this is in, some of this reading, maybe it's not exactly obvious what it means, right? All those analogies about there not being a relic, but yet, and all those things about, when towers can be built from gnat's legs and all this. It's quite uh, there's something for contemplation there, what is actually meant there. So, nonetheless, even if we don't understand uh, what we're hearing or what we're reading, it does generate very beneficial imprints in the mind. Um, and through repeated familiarization, study, meditation, and so forth, one day these imprints will ripen. So, okay. Chapter 3, chapter on seeing the dream. Then the Bodhisattva Ruchira Ketu slid into sleep. He dreamed. He saw a golden drum, its light shining like an orb of the sun. In every direction, countless inconceivable numbers of Tathagatas were preaching the Dharma, seated on lapis thrones at the foot of jeweled trees, completely surrounded by numerous hundreds of thousands of retinues. Then he saw a being in the form of a Brahmin beating that drum. From the sound of that drum, these and similar confessional verses issued forth. Then the Bodhisattva Ruchiraketu awoke and remembered those verses at once. Having remembered those verses, when night came to an end, he, along with many thousands of beings, left the great city of Rajgriha. He arrived at Vulture's Peak, where the Tathagata was. Having reached there, he prostrated himself at the feet of the Tathagata, circumambulated the Tathagata 3 times, and sat to one side. Sitting to one side, the Bodhisattva Ruchiraketu bowed to the Tathagata with hands folded in respect and recited those conventional verses he heard coming forth from the drum. This ends the third chapter, the chapter on seeing the dream from the King of Sklora Sutras from the Sublime Golden Light. So here, this is the confession chapter, and this was what Lama Tsongkhapa uh, has said is, along with the 35 Buddhas, a very powerful means of purifying negative karma. And then later, when we get to you'll see there's a dedication in here. That is the verses that Lama Tsongkhapa uh, recommended for the generation of bodhicitta. Okay? Chapter 4, chapter on confession. One night, without distraction, I dreamed a vivid dream. I saw a large and beautiful drum filling the world with golden light and glowing like the sun, beaming brightly to all places. It was seen from 10 directions. Everywhere Buddhas were seated on thrones of precious lapis at the foot of jeweled trees, facing assemblies of many hundreds of thousands. I saw a form like that of a Brahmin fiercely beat upon the drum. When he struck it, these verses issued forth. By the sound of this majestic drum of golden light, may the suffering of lower migration, yama, and the poverty of the three realms of the triple thousand worlds cease to be. By the sound of this majestic drum, may the ignorance of the world be dispelled, with fears quelled, just as vanquishing sages are unafraid. May sentient beings become fearless and brave. Just as the omniscient vanquishing sage in the world is possessed of every excellence of the Aryas, may countless beings too possess oceans of qualities, concentration, and the wings of enlightenment. By the sound of this majestic drum, may all beings be endowed with the melody of Brahma. May they touch the sublime enlightenment of Buddhas. May they turn the virtuous wheel of Dharma. Remaining for inconceivable eons, may they teach the Dharma to guide migrating beings, conquering delusion and overcoming affliction. May their attachment, hatred, and ignorance be pacified. May beings who have fallen to lower migrations, whose body are born are alight with blazing flame, hear the speech of this majestic drum. May the proclamation, homage to the Tathagata, be heard. In the course of hundreds of births and tens of thousands of millions of births, may every being remember their former lives, hear this teaching completely, and always recall the vanquishing stages. By the sound of this majestic drum, may beings always find the company of Buddhas. Through renouncing every harmful act, may they engage in only virtuous deeds for humans, gods, and all creatures, whatever thoughts and wishes they have, by may their every wish be totally fulfilled by the sound of the majestic drum. For beings born in the most terrible hells, bodies alight and blazing with flame, who wander without aim, bereft of refuge, and filled with grief, may this tormenting fires utterly end. For those who bear the suffering of humans, hell beings, animals, and hungry ghosts, may every suffering be completely dispelled by the sound of this majestic drum. For those who are without refuge, without base, support, or friend, may I become their supreme refuge, their base, their support and friend. Supreme among bipeds, O Buddhas, dwelling in the world of 10 directions with merciful, compassionate mind, please pay attention to me. So here now, this is coming the confession part, okay? O Buddhas possessed of 10 powers, those terrible wicked acts I've committed in the past before your eyes, I confess them all. Whatever unwholesome deeds I've done, not holding parents as parents, not holding Buddhas as Buddhas, not upholding virtuous deeds, whatever unwholesome deeds I have done, haughty with the vanity of wealth, haughty with age and youthfulness, haughty with pride of affluence and class, whatever unwholesome deeds I've done, through harmful thoughts, harmful words, the thought of harm is harmless and harmful actions done. Whatever unwholesome deeds I've done, acting with the mind of a child, a mind dark with ignorance, or under the sway of a non-virtuous friend, greatly charged with emotion, discontent with wealth, afflicted with depression and malaise, or under the impulse of frivolous play, whatever unwholesome deeds I have done through mixing with vile characters of non-Aryas, through jealousy and miserliness, and through poverty and guile, whatever unwholesome deeds I have done, when poverty came to me, fearing the loss of the desirable and stricken with the dearth of material goods, whatever unwholesome deeds I have done under the power of a flighty mind, ruled by desire and hatred, or oppressed by hunger and thirst, whatever unwholesome deeds I have done, oppressed by when oppressed by affliction, for the sake of pursuing women or acquiring food, drink, and attire, through misdeeds of body, speech, and mind, I have amassed threefold wrong acts. In these three ways, whatever I've done, these deeds I confess in full. Whatever I've done, disrespecting the Buddhas, the Dharma, and Shravakas do, these deeds I confess in full. Actions I have done lacking respect to Prateka Buddhas as well as to Bodhisattvas, these deeds I confess in full. Disrespect I have shown to those who preach the Dharma, likewise contempt of Dharma itself, these deeds I confess in full. Continually unaware of this benefit, I have rejected the sublime Dharma. I have shown unwitting insolence to parents. These deeds I confess in full. Childish and veiled by stupidity, blind with desire and hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and pride, these deeds I confess in full. Honoring those who possess the 10 powers, I shall worship those dwelling in all directions. I shall deliver sentient beings inhabiting every realm from all suffering. I shall place uncountable beings upon the Bodhisattva's 10 grounds. Abiding in these 10 stages, may they all become Tathagatas. Until I am capable of freeing them all from countless oceans of suffering, for 10 million eons, I shall strive for the sake of even one sentient being. To these sentient beings I shall reveal the sutra called Sublime Golden Light, which rids one from every harmful misdeeds and expounds upon the profound. For those for who 1,000 eons committed deadly, unwholesome deeds by confessing them earnestly once through the sutra, all will be purified, swiftly and wholly consuming all karmic obscurations. By making confession through the sublime golden light, I shall abide on the 10 bodhisattva grounds, those mines of supreme precious jewels, that I may shine with the Tathagata's marks and signs and free beings from the ocean of existence. Through Buddhas who are waters of oceans, their inconceivable Tathagata's qualities, akin to the ocean's profound depth, I shall evolve into an omniscient being. Becoming Buddha, I shall possess 10 powers, hundreds of thousands of concentrations, inconceivable magical mantra incantations, enlightenment, 7 wings, 5 powers, and 5 forces. O Buddhas who continually look upon beings, I request you to gaze intensely upon me. Your compassionate minds, always overflowing, may you hold the remorseful always near. Due to countless sinful actions performed in hundreds of eons past, my mind is pierced and stricken with grief, wretchedness, sorrow, and fear. Solemnly fearing unwholesome deeds, I shall always keep my mind modest. Where, when it, Wherever I commit the smallest action, I shall not succumb to frivolous excitement. Since Buddhas are compassionate and dispel the fright of all beings, I entreat them to hold remorselessly fast and free us from every fear. May the Tathagatas keep at bay my negative karma and emotion. May the Buddhas always bathe me with the water of compassion. I confess all unwholesome deeds, whatever I've done in the past, whatever is done in the present. These deeds I confess in full. I shall not conceal or hide harmful actions I have done. In future times, I shall refrain from deeds that render me full of shame. 3 actions of the body, fourfold of the voice, threefold of the mind. These deeds I confess in full. Actions I have done through body and speech, clearly impelled by the mind. Those tenfold actions I accomplish, these deeds I confess in full. Renouncing the 10 unwholesome deeds and cultivating the 10 which are moral, I will come to abide on the 10 grounds and acquire the Buddha's 10 great powers. Every unwholesome deed I have done that leads to unwanted results, in the presence of the Buddhas, these deeds I confess in full. In the wholesome virtuous deeds of all those dwelling in Jambudvipa, that means this planet, and those living in other worlds too, in these deeds I rejoice. Likewise, whatever merit I have gathered through body, speech, and mind, by the force of this virtue's ripening effect, may supreme enlightenment be attained. Deeds committed on samsara's precarious wheel, those actions influenced by a childish mind approaching the presence of the peerless 10 powers, all these deeds I confess individually through feeble birth, feeble existence, feeble world, and feeble volatile mind. Multitudes of physical actions, this mass of deeds I confess in full. Wretched with delusion of the childish and foolish, wretched with association of non-virtuous friends, wretched with existence, wretched with desire, wretched with hatred, wretched with ignorance, wretched with fatigue, wretched with time, and wretched in accomplishing virtue. I approach the incomparable conquerors and confess all negative deeds individually. I prostrate to the Buddha's oceans of virtue, golden like Mount Sumeru, going for refuge, I bow my head in prostration to the glorious conquerors. Their compassionate light dispels the double mantle of darkness. Buddhas are suns, blazing glory, splendor, and renown, golden in color, eyes fine as pure faultless lapis, they glow with a glitter of pure gold. Their exquisite and beautiful limbs are utterly flawless and perfectly formed. From pristine limbs, the Buddha's sun radiates shafts of golden light. Consumed by the flames of negative passion, sentient beings blaze like fire. They are refreshed and soothed by the moonlike light of the Buddhas. 32 major marks render their senses exquisitely refined. Their awe-inspiring limbs are graced by the 80 minor signs. Filled with merit and glory, they're like splendid rays of spinning light, they orbit as does the sun in the darkness of the triple realms. Pure as lapis with a ray of rich color, exquisitely adorned with myriad webs of light, your limbs resemble the crystal, silver, and crimson of dawn, like the suns. O sages, you are enchantingly glorious. For those fallen into the great river of cyclic existence, tossed amid crushing waves of sorrow and death, may abundant immense rays of the sun, that is the Tathagata, deplete the ocean of samsara, violent and cruel. With limbs shining brightly, the color of gold, their wisdom source peerless among the 3 realms, their limbs are adorned with intensely charming marks. I prostrate to Buddhas whose bodies sparkle gold. Just as water in the ocean cannot be measured, just as dust on earth is utterly without end, just as Mount Sumeru possesses matchless stone and the edge of space is infinitely unknown, likewise, the virtues of Buddhas are limitless. If sentient beings took the measure of their qualities and for countless eons reflected upon them, still the extent of their virtue could not be seen. If counted for eons, one may possibly know water droplets at hair ends of particles of Earth's mountains, oceans, and rocks, but not the limit of the Buddha's virtue. Great may sentient beings, excuse me, may sentient beings evolve into such Buddhas, graced with virtue, color, fame, and renown, their bodies embellished with major marks of goodness and the sublime 80 minor signs. Through these virtuous actions, I shall soon become a Buddha on this earth, preaching the doctrine that guides the world. I shall free beings forever afflicted by suffering. I shall triumph over Mara with his army and might. I shall turn the wheel of virtuous Dharma, abiding for inconceivable eons. I shall satisfy sentient beings with the water of Dharma's nectar. Just as the conquerors of the past completed six perfections, these perfections I too shall fully achieve. My ignorance, hatred, and desire pacified, I shall conquer delusion and dispel pain. I shall always remember my former births, hundreds of existence and 10 millions of lives, always recalling the vanquishing sages. I shall listen to their teachings in full. Through these virtuous actions, I shall always find the company of Buddhas, accomplishing virtue, the source of every excellence. I shall thoroughly renounce unwholesome deeds. May the creatures of samsara's various realms be at peace without the misery of their worlds. May beings who lack sense faculties or hold defective ones be endowed with powers complete. For beings feeble in body, afflicted with disease, and in all 10 directions devoid of defense, may they swiftly be freed of all their ailments, obtain perfect senses, strength, and good health. For those imperiled by threats and death from kings or thugs, tormented by numerous hundreds of afflictions, may these beings, wretched, weak with sorrow, be freed from hundreds of horrific fears. For those who are tortured, bound, and beaten, distressed by passion, or captured by delusion, may these beings, fearful, faced with sorrow, be freed from the shackles of bondage. May those who are beaten find freedom from beating. May those facing murder be endowed with life. May those who are feeble be without fear. May beings tortured by hunger, craving, and thirst immediately find a wealth of food and drink. May the blind see an abundance of forms and deaf hear captivating sound. May the naked find plentiful attire and the poor find mines of treasure. Through wealth of riches, grains, and jewels, may all beings be endowed with serenity and joy. May no being face the pain of affliction. May all beings be attractive and handsome. Endowed with exquisite, beautiful, auspicious forms, may every light be replete with infinite joy. As soon as they wish, may there immediately be food, drink, greater affluence and merit, large drums, lutes and piwang, springs, pools, water holes, and ponds, imbued with blue and golden lotuses. Likewise, may they receive at once food, drink, clothing, and wealth, gems like lapis, golden ornaments, pearls, and jewels. May no sound of woe be heard anywhere in the world, and not one being in poor health be seen. Instead, may beings have great complexion. In each other's radiance, may they mutually shine. Whatever forms of excellence there are in the human world, whatever they are wished for, may these come to be. The moment they arise through the ripening of virtue, may the aspiration of sending beings be fulfilled. May perfume, incense, garlands, and ointments, clothing, powder, and abundant flowers rain down from the trees of 3 times. Thus may sentient beings be filled with joy. May they venerate inconceivable Tathagatas in all 10 directions, completing Bodhisattvas, Shravakas, and likewise the flawless, pristine Dharma. May migrating beings avoid the lower realms. May they go beyond the 8 unfortunate states. May they attain the 8 auspicious conditions. May meetings with Buddhas always be received. Always born in higher classes, may beings be replete with wealth and with grain. For numerous eons, may they be endowed with great form, renown, complexion, and fame. May all women become like men, heroic, learned, lucid, and strong. So I should mention here. Uh, mm, Many of these sutras that you'll see they're composed by the Buddha about 2,500 some years ago. And in that time, it was, a highly patriarchal society. And so, unfortunately, men were the ones who had access to education. and opportunities to practice. So, and women were held in a lower regard. So now, although in many places in the world, um, women are accorded better educational opportunities, which is a great thing. Um, we can now view this aspiration that the beings who are held in sort of lower situations where they are oppressed and deprived from opportunities to learn and practice, you know, may those in oppressive states uh, become to hold a state where they can, learn and you know, have opportunities to practice and further themselves. Okay. Endeavoring to complete the six perfections, may they incessantly strive for enlightenment. May they come to behold Buddhas in the 10 directions, seated at ease upon precious lapis thrones, under bejeweled, exquisite, stately trees. May they hear the Buddha's Dharma explained. Unwholesome deeds I performed and created in wretched existence past, may those negative effects which ripen due to deeds be completely extinguished. May those beings who are tied to existence, tightly bound by the rope of cyclic round, unravel their bondage with a wisdom hand and quickly be freed from all suffering. Whatever beings here in Jambudvipa and in other world spheres too perform virtuous acts, in these deeds I rejoice in full. Through the merit of actions of body, speech, and mind, through rejoicing in others' virtue, may every fruit of my prayers and practice unfold. May pristine, peerless enlightenment be attained. Those who recite this dedication, who prostrate and praise with an unsoiled mind, always devout and free from stains, shall avoid a terrible rebirth for 60 eons. By reciting these prayers and verses, men, women, Brahmins, and royals who praise the conqueror with folded hands will remember their births in every life. They shall receive bodies adorned with complete limbs and senses, myriad merits and virtue. The Lord of humans will always honor them. They will, such they will be in each place of birth. Into those into whose ear this confession enters have not performed virtue under just one Buddha, not two, not four, nor five, nor 10, nor in the presence of merely 100,000 Buddhas have they completed virtue. This ends the fourth chapter, the chapter on confession from the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light. There we go. Amazing. So, let's just take a moment and, rejoice and think, that all these aspirations that we've made, all these dedications that we made, now come to fruition this very second. And that all the war, all the suffering of sentient beings due to war, violence, natural disasters, sickness, economic problems, all of these are completely pacified right this second. And all of the beneficial qualities like loving kindness and compassion also are generated in the minds of all the sentient beings in the universe right this second. And similarly, all of the wisdom, particularly the wisdom of ultimate reality, is generated in the minds of all sentient beings right this second. And then you should all rejoice, thinking that how wonderful it was that through reciting the sutra, we have then been able to bring about all of these beneficial effects in the world. Okay. So try to abide in that. Maybe don't open the newspaper tomorrow. Let's at least think that all these aspirations have come to be, you know? So let us now. So within that dedication, it was basically you'll see, many of those dedications were also there in the Shantideva prayer, in the King of Prayers. So many of those aspirations, you know, we see again and again in various dedication prayers, right? So we don't need to do much more of dedication, but let us just dedicate. Let me stop share for a second. Let's just also dedicate for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and all of our spiritual friends that they can continue to remain in the world and benefit sentient beings through their presence, through their teachings. Then let's also dedicate for all of those who are engaging in virtuous activities, be they Buddhist or not. Anyone who is doing good things in the world, alleviating the suffering of sentient beings. May they have all of the conducive conditions for their virtuous activities. And then, especially for Tushita Center and all the other centers of FPMT, offering so much benefit to the world by offering, courses, places for retreat, and, offering programs like this online. So may Tushita Meditation Center in Dharmasala uh, have all of the, necessary conditions so it can be successful in its continual uh, activities to benefit sentient beings and the teachings of Buddha, and particularly all of the, staff, Kunpen, Raisa, all of the, staff, volunteers, anyone who has in the past come to one of the courses in the present or in the future are going to attain programs and courses there. May they have all of the conducive conditions for their practice and attain all the realizations on the path as quickly as possible. And also for all the sponsors and benefactors of Tushita, all the other centers, may they also have all of the realizations on the path as quickly as possible. Last, no, not last. Um, this was a dedication that Lama Zopa Rinpoche was very fond of, right? Um, so many of you know this dedication, Jangchu Samcho Rinpoche, right? Uh, mm, oops, hold on. Where is it? Here we go. Okay. In the standard dedication prayers, right? So this one's actually as bodhicitta, right? Jangchu Samcho Rinpoche. Okay, we all know the tune. But Lama Zopa Rinpoche, for many years, as a prelude to this, he would dedicate that the bodhicitta be generated in the hearts of all the sentient beings in the world and particularly in the hearts of the leaders of the world. So, those in positions of power in, whether it be government or industry, if they generate this mind of bodhicitta, of compassion for others, then it has such a huge effect on the rest of the world. And so let's dedicate in general, yes, for bodhicitta to be actualized in the hearts of all the beings, but particularly for all the leaders of this world. And may they give up entirely any thought that wishes to cause even the slightest harm to any sentient being, and instead only be guided by the mind of compassion, wishing to alleviate sentient beings from suffering, and only do what is most beneficial for all sentient beings in the world. Janchu sem chorim poche ma ke panam ke gyuchi ke wan yamba me ba ya gone gondu pelwa sho. So you also see, uh, spoiler alert, but later when you read this later in the sutra, there's a whole chapter on the inviolable commitments of divine kings. Okay, so this is actually a treatise on how kings or leaders should govern. And well, one of the main things that is there, one of the main responsibilities of our leaders is to sort of hold people who are doing negative things to account and make them sort of accountable for the negative actions they've done. And so, mm, without getting too much into politics, I will say, you know, this is not followed by some, and we have seen, some misdeeds being done, and these people have largely, yeah, been protected by the powers and institutions. But I did see uh, some heartening news that in the UK, that someone who has largely, up until recently, been shielded from consequences of negative actions, has been, held to some degree of account. So, big thumbs up to that. And since we are almost at the 2 hour mark, let us just do a final dedication for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. You see him with His Holiness. So, in general, it's one of the things we can do uh, as students of Lama Zopa Rinpoche is by following his advice, then that is a extremely a powerful cause that we then can, meet him in whatever form he might take in this and our future lives. So now, by reciting this Golden Light Sutra, which was one of his main practice advice, then it's been extremely beneficial and auspicious for us to be guided by him again in the future. So we will recite this prayer composed by the Dalai Lama that we can, he might manifest in the world again. And not only that he, will manifest in the world, but have all of his studies complete without obstacles, and again, offer the most extensive benefit uh, by continuing the work that he has done in his previous lives. Okay. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious one, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Lozong, father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite land, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable, venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious ones, teaching the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you, especially all of you who are staying up a little bit past your bedtime. But as His Holiness always likes to, tell the story. One day, I think he was in Germany, maybe in Berlin, right? Berlin has a nice active nightlife, right, Kunpan? So he tells a story where he, is going to bed at about 11, and he sees across from his hotel, there's like, the kind of lights flashing and all this, people are having a party. Then, he wakes up quite early in the morning to his meditation practice. And then when he woke up in the morning, he saw that the lights are still on, right? So we can think, how many times we've stayed up, all night partying. But then when it comes to doing some Dharma practice, oh man, oh, it's too late. I'll do my rest, tomorrow. So now having endured some kind of hardship, staying up late to do some Dharma practice, it's even more beneficial. So thank you, all of you. Um, Thank you to my team of translators. That's so wonderful. I'm so touched and moved again that this has been made available for other languages. So thank you, the two Anastasias, to make this available in Russian language and for Russian speakers, and then for Siliana as well, all the Italian speakers, grazie mille, and especially to Bibi Rosa, bringing this to Iran, and all of my Iranian brothers and sisters there who are experiencing, I know, a lot of difficulties these days. And hopefully, the situation can improve there quickly without further deterioration. So thank you all for that. And with that, I will say a fond aloha. Aloha, you know that, right? That's Hawaiian.
Aloha.
Yes.
Thank you so much, dear Namjong La.
Thank you.
And may realizations pour down on you in your retreat. Please don't forget us.
No, no, no.
Never,
I
never.
won't forget you. I won't forget you.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much for, interrupting your retreat and inspiring us so much. Thank you so much. And
it's my
have a
pleasure.
good day. And here in India, have a good night. And wherever you are, sleep well, have a great day, whatever you're doing. And we also had flashing lights here. I don't know how many power cuts we had, around 1,000 now. It's just going flashing, flashing, flashing. So it's like Berlin here. Here we go.
Every time they go off and on, you can off the lights again.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you so
great.
much, everybody. Thank you so much, audio
Okay, thank you.
translators. Bye bye. And see you
Namaste,
tomorrow.
namaste.
We have Jitsuma Tenzin Palmo at 5 o'clock answering our
Wow.
questions. So please tune in again and see you then. Thank you so much. Bye
Okay,
bye. Manabun Namjong la.
okay. Koda, Hafez. Okay, bye bye.
Grazie Siliana.